What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Dailey, founder of the Sports Court and host of the Chris Dailey Show, joined here by a man who has been on the same golf course as Tiger Woods, had a pool party with Dak Prescott, and hangs out on the regular with a dude with maybe the most famous beard in all of America, if not the planet. None other than Dude Perfect's very own director of digital engagement and branded content, Chad Coleman. Chad, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and that was quite a big intro there, but
Yeah, that
it's
was that was maybe
yeah,
the best. That was maybe the best intro I've ever gotten for any
yeah,
interview. So thank you for that.
no problem.
You made
And
me sound way more important than I actually am.
well, it seems that you're pretty important considering the fact you've done a lot so far in both the world of golf and all sports now with Dude Perfect. And Dude Perfect, the one thing I love about them is the way they present themselves for really the younger audience. A great role model. I've been watching them ever since I can remember walking, so it's great to be talking to somebody within Dude Perfect.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks for the love. It's nice to be able to provide family friendly content for we get from parents and kids all the time that they really love Dude Perfect, primarily because it's something that they can just put on for their kids and know that they can be entertained and they won't have to worry about anything, because I think it's so easy in the internet culture these days to
Yeah.
come across things that kids or teenagers or whoever might not be the best thing for them to see. So it's nice to be able to just have that faith and trust in Dude Perfect that we're going to put out funny content and stuff that the whole family can enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just an honor to be talking to you. So I want to jump straight into it. But before I do want to backtrack a bit to during your childhood, did you always know you wanted to be involved in sports and specifically in a digital environment?
Yeah, I did. I grew up in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I went to college at the University of Arkansas, and I'd always been a huge golf fan. And so when I was graduating college, it was actually my senior year, or my junior year of college. I started working at this frozen yogurt shop on campus, and um, towards the beginning of my senior year, the general manager quit, and so the owner of the place asked me if I wanted to be the general manager of this frozen yogurt shop on campus. And I was like, I was still taking classes full time, but had no idea how to manage a frozen yogurt shop. But I was like, yeah, sure, like let's give it a run. And so I kind of, one of the areas that I really gravitated to in that while I was doing that was the social media aspect, because we were on campus and it was right when social media and Instagram was launching. And so things were, a lot of college kids were starting to use social media for, various different ways, and especially brands and companies and places like that were starting to use social media as a way to connect with fans and to bring them in their doors, essentially. So I was just fascinated by it, and I thought, this is a good opportunity for me to test the waters and try out, try to be, super active on social and connect with students and get repeat customers and just have fun with it. And I had, it was really, the owner was like, yeah, just go with it. Like whatever you want to do. I don't really know anything about social media, so I trust you. And so obviously that's on a very small scale, but I think that's when I had first realized like, hey, this is super interesting to me. Seeing what kind of campaigns that I can run that will bring students in and bring students back. And that just kind of sparked my interest in social media marketing. And I was lucky enough to, a year out of college. So right after college, I got a job at a social digital advertising agency. And so I was doing like social media content for big brands that were clients of ours, like Sam's Club, PF Chang's, like some kind of big kind of retailers. And it was fun, but I didn't, what I started noticing was the trend of, a lot of companies were bringing their social media in-house versus having agencies do it, just because it's a lot easier to speak to the culture of your company and what you're all about, and to speak the tone and the language of your company if you're actually embedded inside headquarters or the company. And so at that point I was noticing kind of a shift of these big companies. Less and less of them were outsourcing their social media to their agency of record, and they were bringing that position in-house. And so I just kind of on a whim reached out to a couple of people in the golf media space that I had followed on Twitter for a couple of years, that I'd interacted with. Didn't know them, hadn't met them, but just was kind of interacting with them. And I just, was basically like, hey, I would love to be in the golf industry. There's a big opportunity, I think, right now with this kind of transformation of social into, well, I think a lot of golf companies, equipment companies in particular, could really benefit from something like that. And just kind of threw it out there, and I actually got a call back from one of the people I reached out to pretty much immediately, and she was like, "Hey, this guy that I know at Callaway just reached out to me yesterday. They're trying to hire for a social media position, and he asked if I had any recommendations on who they would hire because they haven't really found the right fit." And she was like, "I told him no, but if you're interested, I can link you up with him." And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great."
That's the way to do it when the stars just align. That's
yeah,
perfect.
exactly. So everything just aligned, and so I went out there for an interview and got the job, and 2 weeks later I was packing my bags in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and moving out to San Diego, California, and I spent the next 8 years there at Callaway.
That's amazing. And speaking of Arkansas for a quick second, I'm doing a little March Madness tournament bracket, and last night I put Arkansas winning it all for my bracket. And
Winning it all. You really know how to get to my heart, don't you, Chris?
yeah, well,
Wow.
I did it because, with COVID and all, the thing is with March Madness for me is like, you never know. For all I know, Gonzaga might lose in the first round because they get one positive test. So I think it's going to be the most unpredictable year of all time.
I totally agree that it's going to be unpredictable. I think you're going to have a lot more upsets just given this weird, the weird year. And I think especially during the regular season, it was tough for teams to get on a run because you lose the home court advantage, and the fans that atmosphere has such a big it plays such a big factor, and especially in college basketball. And
Exactly.
Not having that, really, it's just kind of leveled the playing field. And I think I'm not saying we're going to win it all, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got up there because we had our best season since 94 when we won the national title, and won like 12 straight SEC games to end the season, and school record, and our guys seem to be pretty hyped up, and so who knows what can happen.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting to watch. But another thing that was interesting to watch, speaking of winning, was I want to touch base on the story about how you won on the Webcom Tour one time with your friend Wesley Bryan. So he's on the PGA Tour now, but back when he was on the Webcom Tour, his caddy was out of town for I hope I said this right, the El Bosque Mexican Championship.
Yep.
Yeah, so he calls you up, he asks you to caddy for him. You say yes, and it turns out he has a tournament of his life. I'm pretty sure I read he shot 63 on the last day. So I got to ask a two-parter here. Firstly, what's going on throughout your mind when he says, hey, you want to caddy for me? And secondly, what's going on throughout your mind when you realize, hey, we just won this damn thing?
Yeah, that was a really awesome experience, and one that I still can't believe was real. So at the time, Wesley was on the Web.com tour. He had already won once that season, I believe. And at the time, his brother George was caddying for him. But at the same time, George was also trying to pursue his goal of playing professionally. So he was, if he got into a Monday qualifier, he was having to jet off and do that. Or if he, so he was kind of week to week with Wesley. And so it was a good time because, I'd met Wesley through Callaway. And I was kind of instrumental in signing Wesley and George to a sponsorship deal with Callaway early on before they had any status anywhere. I met them at the PGA show one year. Loved their personality. That was back when they were doing like trick shots and kind of just some internet videos and stuff, social videos. And I really liked them. And I thought that, they had I think it would be a perfect match for Callaway and them to do some fun content together. Little did I know it would spawn into what it did. But so I had kind of met Wesley that way, and we had always talked about, hey, like, you should come caddy for me at some point because you can do like social media content for Callaway and show what it's like to be on the bag for someone in a Web.com event, and you have all this access and all this stuff. Nobody's ever done anything like this. And I was like, that would be amazing. we definitely need to do that. And then literally like 2 weeks before that tournament, he called me and he was like, hey, actually, he didn't even call me at first. He tweeted out something like, if this gets 100 retweets, then hashtag Chad will come caddy for me next week in Mexico. And all of a sudden I get this notification, and then he texts me. He goes, hey, I just talked to your boss and he said it was fine. So if this gets 100 retweets, then pack your bags. You're coming out to Mexico next week because George was doing a qualifier or something, so he couldn't make it. And so, yeah, next thing you know, I'm packing my bags, heading out to Mexico, thinking, oh, this, it'd be awesome if we make the cut. Like, that's, if we make the cut, that's really all I can ask for. I think that would be an awesome experience. And hopefully I don't screw it up too bad. And so I get out there, we're having a blast. And, the first day I think we shot like 4 under, but nothing like spectacular happened, 3 or 4 under, kind of middle of the pack. Next day come out. And it was Friday, I believe, that he shot 63. And it just was unbelievable. We were just having so much fun out there, and he was so loose, and it didn't even seem like 63. It was like at the end of the round, you're like, wait, you just shot 63, and you're like leading the tournament now. I was like, oh well, I guess we definitely made the cut. And so went on through the weekend and never really there's never really a time where he wasn't leading. I feel like he was just playing great golf, and I was just trying to stay out of his way as much as I could. I think I had input on maybe 3 shots that whole week. Wesley's the kind of guy that he knows what he wants. He knows, he's very self-dependent in that regard. So he doesn't typically lean on a caddy for a ton of stuff, but there were a couple times where I threw in a club selection change or something like that. But I just mostly just tried to stay out of his way and keep him confident and keep him relaxed and not thinking about the fact that we're in the lead. So it was a crazy experience. And at the end of it, I just remember on 18 walking down the fairway, knowing that we had a 3-shot lead or something. And basically if you hit the tee shot, if you don't hit the tee shot in the water, then you're pretty much good. And he striped a tee shot right down the middle and made birdie on the last, and it was surreal. It was just immediately into dream mode. It was like, did this really happen? My phone's blowing up. It's all over Golf Channel. It's all over everywhere. It was crazy. It still feels like something that didn't actually happen. But I can officially say that I have the all-time winningest record for a caddy in professional caddy history. 1 for 100, batting 1,000, and I told Wesley we always talk about me caddying for him in a PGA Tour event at some point. So hopefully that'll happen. He was injured last year, but he's back at it again this year, and so hopefully at some point we can try to make it 2 for 2.
Yeah, well, I'll watch that for sure. And I'm sorry I'm so delayed, picture by picture here on this thing, but I was laughing throughout that story. That's truly one of the best stories I've heard. I've done this since July of 2019. I've interviewed about 100 people, and that's by far up there for the best stories I've ever heard. That's great. And now with Dude Perfect, you kind of touched base on what I did want to ask about Callaway Golf in terms of what you did there. So you did great stuff, and now you're at Dude Perfect. And Dude Perfect on YouTube, they have 12 billion views in total, which is you go around the world, every single person, and you go back halfway. So the world's population. It's just amazing how much buzz they've generated. So my question for you is, how long on average, because we all see these amazing shots they do, how long on average does it take to do one single trick shot?
Oh gosh, we get this question a lot. Honestly, it depends. There's sometimes I've seen him make it on the first try before. We were doing one for Dr. Pepper recently where it was the ghost cart rider where we were at a football stadium, had a basketball goal up in the stands. Ty was on the field, and he was riding in a cart and put a hammer on the gas pedal so that it stayed running, and got up, stood up, and threw a football as he was going full speed in the cart, and threw a football up and swished it in the goal in the stands while he was moving.
Jeez.
And that happened very first try.
Yeah, I remember watching the. Sorry to cut you off for a second, but one off the
Yeah.
top of my head is I don't think you were at Dude Perfect then, but it was the world record shot and Guinness World Record, and who was it? I don't forget who it was, but it was behind the back, blindfolded, and they swish it first try, and he thought everybody was joking when they said, "Oh, you put it in,"
Yeah.
because it never happened. So it was
Yeah,
pretty.
that was Cody. Yeah,
Yeah, that was.
that was also insane. But definitely doesn't happen like that all the time. Typically, I mean, it depends on the scale of the shot. Like there's some that we know are just going to take a long time, but it's okay because they're that epic, and we just come up with a system to where we have rebounders and we have everything in place to where we can just keep firing them off and get reps in and knowing that eventually it'll happen. And sometimes it's very maddening, and sometimes there's been times where one shot has taken an entire day.
Jeez, yeah.
But typically it's less than that, and we try to set ourselves up for success, and in the sense that we're able to get a lot of reps off, and we have a system in place for that. That way we can just keep going and going and going and try to get it sooner rather than later. So it really varies. It depends, anywhere from first try to a day.
That's amazing. And the one thing about Dude Perfect too is ever since they first generated buzz in 2010 in the backyard when they were just a bunch of college kids, they have never seemed to miss. They always generate buzz, and now the overtimes are undefeated. I remember my class and I last year in 8th grade, before it got cut short due to COVID, we all sang the overtime song in class. In the middle of class, teacher obviously wasn't, he was confused what's going on. But yeah, the trick shot's still jaw dropping, and I feel like every other week, whenever you guys release a video on YouTube trending, you're up there, number 1, number 2, in the top 5, that's for sure. So how have you, because you're a big part of it, generating this engagement and digital content, how have you guys generated buzz throughout the pandemic when a lot of YouTubers have fallen off, and how have you guys really been able to grow even more?
Yeah, I think, like, to Dude Perfect's credit and the five guys, that it's something that is very difficult to go from essentially five best friends creating trick shots and be able to work with your best friends and create a business like this and have it be sustaining over over 10, 12 years is remarkable. I mean, you just rarely hear about success stories like that. So that, part of that comes down to their ability to pivot and and to not be stuck on one thing for too long, and to have long-term visions and goals in mind. And I think that our ability to kind of adapt to situations definitely helped us with COVID, because we obviously, we plan our videos out well in advance, because there's typically a lot of travel involved and timing and scheduling and all that stuff. So when COVID hit, we had a lot of things in the next couple months that we were going to travel to that obviously got canceled. And but we were able to say, okay, what can we do right now, with given the tools that we have, and given the circumstances that we have, to create content that people are going to want to watch and that'll make people happy during this time. And so, we did things like quarantine stereotypes, and we did, at the beginning of the pandemic, when all the sports were shutting down, we did a live streamed quarantine classic, live sporting kind of show for an entire week straight on our YouTube channel. Stream live. The guys competed in different challenges, and so that was a lot of fun. And we were able to kind of, luckily for us, we work in a big adult playground in the warehouse here at Dude Perfect headquarters. So even not being able to travel, we were still able to come up with some creative ideas and film videos in a safe way. And we all, with another good thing is we're a very small team. I mean, it's the five guys and a couple video editors and myself and a couple other behind the scenes guys, but it's a very small team, and so we've been very cautious throughout the entire time with COVID, and making sure that we're getting tested regularly, and that there's very clear communication between everyone, and we've been able to skirt by and not have really any scares or mishaps, which has been great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I love how you said the big adult playground, because it leads perfectly into one of my questions I got for you is, besides the golf, because I was thinking about it, I'm like, maybe he's going to say the little putting course, what should I call it? Gosh, my mind's going blank, but you know what I mean, the little green you have there.
Yeah, the
What's,
virtual green.
yeah, so what's your favorite section of the Dude Perfect office?
It's a tie between the golf simulator and the basketball court. The basketball court is awesome because it's like, if I have meetings during the day or we're, cranking on a video or something, there's always 10 feet away. There's a regulation sized basketball court that you can just go out and get some shots up for 10 minutes if you need to just get your mind off something or have a break or whatever. And so that's just an awesome thing to have. And then obviously the golf simulator is up there with the virtual green that we have that is on basically on a motorized stilts that can change, and the undulation can change to exactly how you want it. So you can practice your left to right putts or your right to left putts and play Pebble Beach in the simulator. And, it doesn't get much better than that.
That's amazing. And sticking with golf, with Dude Perfect, you traveled to Paynes Valley. Tiger Woods, who prayers up to Tiger after that car crash that he got in, but you went to Paynes Valley and you took a picture with Tiger. I made the thumbnail for the video, and that is the picture in the thumbnail. So were you intimidated at all by meeting Tiger and just being in the presence of the GOAT? And by the GOAT, I mean Tiger Woods. That was just a little pun there for anybody who watches Dude Perfect, because the purple hoser remains as one of everybody's all-time favorites.
I love it. Yeah. I think this is probably the one scenario where maybe I wasn't as nervous as the guys were, because being in the golf industry for 8 years, I was around Tiger quite a bit. And, I'd talked to him a couple of times before. And so, for me, it wasn't as awestruck as I think, it's hard for the dudes to get that way because of, everything they've been able to experience and people they've met. But that's up there on the top people that they would want to meet. So it was really cool, especially, it's a very limited number of people there. So it felt very small and intimate, and we were able to go meet him. And first thing he said to Ty was, that his kids are huge fans of us. So that was a nice little icebreaker. And it was a lot of fun. And he, he put on a great event, and that course was spectacular, and we got to go play it. And so, yeah, it was a good time for sure.
Yeah, and I don't mean to keep you here forever. I know I said about 20 to 25 minutes, but I just have a few more questions, if that's all right. So what to me is Dude Perfect is just so successful, and it's just truly amazing how, and I've said it time and time again throughout this interview, it just, as you said, the sustainability of it over 10 years. But there is a big question that is circulating around Dude Perfect, and that's who is the Panda. So any clue about who may be the Panda? Is it you, or is it the other Chad? Who is it?
When I signed on to join Dude Perfect, that was the first document that I signed, was an exclusivity and a non-disclosure on who the Panda is. So unfortunately, my lips are sealed on that one.
It's all right. I was just
Good try,
joking around.
though.
Yeah, I knew that was I knew that's what I was gonna get, but you never know. So, anyways, one picture I did see was in 2016 when you were still at Callaway. You worked with Dude Perfect in some sort of video. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but did you know at that moment in time that you may just be working for them in 3 years' time?
That's a good question. Not really at that time. I think, 2016 was when we did our first video together. So we were launching a new driver at Callaway, and we were looking for creative ways to promote it. And Dude Perfect was something that came to mind for me, in the sense that, we could essentially, we were looking for ways to branch out of the norm at Callaway. I think there's all the golf equipment companies market their clubs basically the same way year after year. And we tried to break that mold and do new things, try different things and reach new audiences. And so that was the first time we'd partnered with Dude Perfect. We did a long drive trick shot video with one of our guys, Jamie Sadlowski. He's a 2-time world long drive champion, and he was on Callaway staff at the time. And he's a great personality, likable guy. So we thought, let's bring him together with the Dude Perfect guys and do a long drive trick shot video and we'll promote our new drivers, and it'll be a home run. And it was great. We ended up doing another golf trick shots video together a couple of years later. And I just kind of kept in touch with the guys, in particular Cody, over the years. And he's, like I said, it's a very small team here, so they had gone this far the entire time, not having a full-time social media person or a content person, or really having any structure in that regard of being one of the biggest content companies in the entire world. They had grown so fast, they just hadn't really figured out what they needed and who they needed and to be in that position. So Cody was kind of doing the social media stuff in his spare time, and he had reached out to me a couple times leading up to when we had a serious talk about it towards the end of 2019. And it's like, hey, like I want to hire you. Like we love your work. You're exactly what we need here. We've been trying to figure out how to go about even hiring for this position, because it's a very specified role. And we'd just been following each other for years, so he kind of knew what I was about, and we had a good working relationship. And so it just kind of made, again, the stars kind of aligned, because my wife and I had our first kid a couple years ago. And so she's from Allen, Texas here, which is just a town or two over from Frisco. And so, being able to be back closer to family and friends, closer to Arkansas, and it just kind of felt like the time was right. And so all the stars aligned, and at the end of 2019, Cody had reached out again, and I finally felt like it was time to have that discussion. And next thing you know, here I am.
Yeah, it's amazing. And as I mentioned, Dude Perfect is it's pretty crazy. I said hanging out, having a pool party with Dak Prescott, who is America's team's #1 QB. They just re-signed him, so big news for those Cowboys fans. But can you, in 3 words, describe what it's like working for Dude Perfect?
3 words. Let's see. Unexpected is definitely one, because that's another thing that I love about this job is every day is different, and you never know what you're going to do when you walk in here on any given day. I mean, generally you do, but there's just so many things that happen that we're just like, that just make it so fun and feels like a startup that you're working at, because it's just got that vibe to it. Nothing is the same from day to day, and that's one of the things I like about it most. So I'd say unexpected, energetic. That's the whole team here is very passionate and very creative minded, and you never have a dull day at Dude Perfect headquarters. And gosh, I guess, unbelievable would be the third, because there's so many unbelievable things that happen, from trick shots to, ordering a camel for a cameo in a video, or the list goes on of things that you just wouldn't believe you're actually doing or saying on a given day, calling to see how much it costs to rent a camel for a video, or a monkey, or whatever it may be. So there's, keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, that's great. And were you there for when one of the twins had to shave his eyebrows?
I wasn't. I came in just after that.
Yeah, I can only imagine what like business meetings or something were like, and the guy you're talking to has shaved eyebrows.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's it's definitely funny. I was here for when Kobe got his head shaved though, and that was pretty jarring. Yeah. That was pretty jarring for several weeks until it grew back in.
Yeah, I remember,
because I would kind of forget that it happened, and then you'd see him and you'd be like, "Oh, whoa, oh, hey, Cobes."
The best is when he's like, "Oh no, I got to go home to my wife. She's got to see this." So.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder how that conversation went.
Yeah. Well, probably not well. But anyways, Chad. Firstly, it was just amazing talking to you, and all the stories you have. Oops, my mic here. All the stories you have, just absolutely amazing. And the work you've done for both Callaway and now Dude Perfect, just extraordinary, really extraordinary. And it was just great to be talking to you, and somebody who's huge in the world of sports. And just big ups to you for everything you've done, and especially. You're pretty young, and it's just so young in your career. I think you got the big job with Callaway, and you've taken opportunities of every job you've gotten, and you've taken them well. So, big shout out to you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Chris. And I just want to say props to you as well for it seems like you've got an awesome gig going here and you're hustling. And how old are you?
I'm 15, so I'm a freshman in high school.
Nice. Well, keep at it, man. You're doing awesome, and you know how to get people's attention and put the hard work in. So, I've been very impressed with you, and I wish you nothing but success, my friend.
Thank you, and you too. And lastly, everybody, I was about to say pound it, Noggin, see ya, but I'm going to say go go Arkansas and pound it, Noggin, see ya.
Pound it, noggin, go Hogs.